Good morning. No, it's not. It's January the 5th. Yes, January the 5th. Better be, because that's what I put on the name of this video. And yeah, I've been away, and other things prevented me from walking for the last few days, but here I am, this first walk of 2024, and it's snowing. It's supposed to snow today and tomorrow, so we're going to get more of the white stuff, as they say around here. I think I need to do another button up on my coat. Just hold on a second. It's about -7, so chilly. I've switched to my parka, my proper winter coat, for the first time this year, actually. And heading around the lake, which is also something I haven't done for a while. Hi, Benjamin. Happy 2024 to you, too. So this is going to be a walk around the lake in the snow. I have to even put up my hood at some point. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, I'm starting still from the condo that I'm currently staying at, although I'll be back in the house in a couple of days. So this will be a somewhat different route. It's still around the lake, but a little different getting to and from the lake. Yeah, we're supposed to get 2 or 3 centimeters, I think, over the next couple of days, and then there's more in the forecast for next week. So we're finally going to start seeing it look like what it normally looks like here, which is, winter. Why do I get the feeling? Aha. That's why. I didn't have it seated properly. I noticed that the video was kind of jerky there. Hopefully that improved it. We will cross here where we have a light. Always the best place to cross. The college building over there. So it's basically the same way I came not that long ago. Looks to me like it's still kind of jerky. I don't know what's doing that. Let me adjust something else here. I hope I have sound. I remembered to turn on the microphone today, so that's good. Oh, thank you. Well, I start the new format probably a week from Sunday will be when it goes live. I don't really know, but I'm talking to... Really, the gimbal doesn't seem to be doing its job, does it? What's going on here? It's giving me a warning message. No, that's definitely not it. No, I hope it takes care of itself. Yeah, so Monday I'm interviewing Robert J. Sawyer, who was my first guest in the very first episode of The World Shapers. It's still giving me a warning message. What the heck? I'm going to turn it off and turn it on again. Whoa! Sorry about that. Maybe that'll settle it down as it understands what's going on better. I don't know. No. Okay, what's wrong now? All right, hold on for a second. I'll just leave it on while I figure this out. Oh, I see what's happened. Okay, it has gone completely wonky in one of the other dimensions. So the weight was entirely wrong and it wasn't able to adjust. That's why it was being so jerky. It's always something. Hey, Kirk in Vancouver. Yes, well, it is January. We should be getting this kind of weather. At least it looks like winter again and not like fall like it has for a while. We drove up to Saskatchewan and back. That's one reason I wasn't riding. We were up there for a couple of days, and it looked like autumn out in the fields where it's no snow, which is great for driving, but yeah, I used to walk around it was kind of tradition, walk around the lake on Fridays, and tradition. I got out of that habit. I should get back to it. It was always Monday along the creek, Friday around the lake. That gives me some structure and I know where I'm going. And then other days as it works out. Then you can watch the changing seasons like this. This is not really a change of season, it just feels like it. Late arrival. Lake is, of course, over there. We will get to it momentarily. Hope the microphone stays on the whole way. One thing I don't know is how long the battery. Charge it after every walk just to be safe. The old one worked a long time without having to be charged. I don't know about this one. Just wait for him to go by and then I can cross. There's the lake. Thank you. Is it Sierra? Sierra, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. So, as I always mention at this point, this parking lot and down at the end of it plays an important role in my young adult fantasy series, The Shards of Excalibur, which kicks off with the Lady of the Lake showing up in the lake just down here past the end of the parking lot. And there's also a scene where my main character, Ariane Forsyth, learns how to use the power of the Lady of the Lake that she has been bequeathed to fight off some bullies, which happens right here as well. Right here, Lady of the Lake shows up. Yeah, I can't. It's like there's a reason why Japan has all these Godzilla movies and things like that. They're a nation that is prone to terrible disasters like that. Very, very volcanically active. This is Willow Island over there, and you could, in better weather, you can rent it and go over and picnic on it. And this is where you go down and get on the boat. It's also where they set off fireworks on Canada Day and other occasions. It's from Willow Island. You may not see as nearly as many people walking today, given the weather. And here's, having said that, here comes a couple right now. No dogs, though. I haven't seen a dog yet. Will this be the day I do an entire walk without seeing a dog? I seriously doubt it. Somewhere along here we'll see a dog. Morning. For some reason, I'm walking quite briskly today. Oh, here comes two more. Also no dogs, though. Matching outfits. There's Willow Island again over there, across the frozen lake. Weird construction noises coming from over there. Are they doing something where that building, the former CNIB building, was torn down? They're supposed to be building something there, but I don't know what exactly. Something was planned and then they didn't do what they needed to and it didn't happen. Big pile of rubble there. Where'd that come from? I have no idea what that's all about. Huh. Oh, there's the ledge over there through the snow, looking across the lake. I really have no idea what that's all about. Unless they're doing something inside the Queen building, and that's come outside from there. HMCS Queen, that's a landlocked naval ship. So having said we wouldn't see as many people, I keep running into people, but they have a right to be out here too, as annoying as that is. I'd rather have the lake all to myself, but I can't really make that happen. Guess we'll go down by the marina when we get up here. When there's more snow, sometimes that way is kind of harder, but it won't be. This is just a dusting, no drifts to worry about or anything like that. And temperature-wise, I'm comfortable enough. I think I'd be a little chilly if I was still wearing my lightweight jacket that I worn up until now, though. I was a little cold in Saskatoon the other night. It's colder than it had been. And I realized I had perhaps put off switching jackets a little too long. All right, we'll go down here. Publishing-wise, I haven't really mentioned, but this is a big month. 2 books coming out January 23rd. The Good Soldier by Nir Yaniv. Nir is an Israeli-born author, now lives in Los Angeles. His last book was in Hebrew, actually. This one is in English. Hi, Moira. And it's Catch-22, or MASH, meets Starship Troopers. That kind of a humorous, satirical military science fiction story. And then concurrent with that is Shapers of Worlds Volume 4, the 4th anthology I've kickstarted featuring authors who were guests on the World Shapers podcast. I'll be kickstarting Volume 5 probably in March or April. It's normally been in March, but I might push it to April this year. There's always some open water out there, and there's even some birds on it. Well, one anyway. I'm not sure why that patch stays open. Some sort of upwelling of warmer water from somewhere. In the summertime, there's a aeration fountain right here. And I was very pleased, Shapers of Worlds Volume 4 got a glowing review from A Tangent Online, which is a major short fiction review site for science fiction and fantasy. Certainly looks like winter today, doesn't it? And 10 of the 19 stories made their recommended reading list for 2023, which is quite something. And 2 of them got the highest rating of 3 stars, Done with Mirrors by Sarah A. Hoyt, and my very own short story, The Canceller. So that was nice. I feel like I don't write much fiction because of everything else I'm doing, so it's nice when I do write something and it seems to go over well. My New Year's resolution is rebalance my publishing and writing stuff so that I get more writing done this year. We'll see, because publishing is this enormous time sink, and it's only me, and I've taken on a ridiculous number of books this year. That's on me, and I could actually postpone some of them. I'd rather not, because the authors are expecting them, but it could happen. Hope doesn't. Morning. This depends on how things go. Lord willing and the creeks don't rise. As long as you got your health, all those cliches when it comes to planning your future activities. Well, maybe Lord willing and the creek don't rise is my mother's. Or certainly from that part of the world down south. Well, she was from Missouri, but it's not really south. A lot souther, more southern than this. Oh, they didn't leave up their outdoor tents this winter. I thought they'd made a deck there you could sit on all year round with the tents, but they're down. That's the willow. Bar willow, it's called now, up there. Then, of course, these are boat garages? That can't be right. Not really boat houses, because they're not on the water. Anyway, place where they store boats. Playground not getting a lot of use today. Canada Games, West Canada Lake Centre. Canada Summer Games were here in 2005. That's when a lot of this was built. The newer facilities. Docks down there. So this takes us up. Oh, they've got a little deck covered up over here. That's all. Huh. Interesting change. Wonder why. Maybe they just weren't getting enough take-up of the big deck, and so they decided to downsize that aspect. Sometimes there's dragon boats there, but again, not this time of year. And this is the boat ramp. If you had a boat, you would launch it here. They have some years had skating on the lake. I don't know if they've been doing it here, though, because there's been an outdoor rink over by the ledge. Actually, maybe they've started that now since it's getting colder. We'll see what they're doing there. Maybe they've given up on it for this year. I don't know. There's a winter festival coming up called Frost Festival, I think they call it, in February. So they'll be happy to see colder weather and snow, if no one else is. course, snow is also important come spring for the farmers. Put moisture into the soil at seeding time. So they'll be hoping we get a lot more than this as the winter continues, and we very, very well might. Past performance is no guarantee of future performance, as they say in RSPs. So just because it didn't snow much up till now doesn't mean we won't get a ton of it between now and spring. Always happy to get out and take a brisk walk because it's like proves to myself that I'm not too decrepit yet. As I enter the year when I officially become a senior citizen this July, tentatively planning a recital, a senior moment with Ed Willett. Ed sings all of his favorite songs he can still remember the lyrics to, or something like that. Probably about an hour performance, possibly at the Artesian. I haven't booked it yet, so I can't say that for sure, but my friend Rob Erson said he would accompany. So I'm hoping to pull that together. It'd be kind of a joint birthday. My wife's birthday and mine aren't too far apart. Anyway, tentatively looking at that. And if I do it, it will be recorded and posted on my YouTube channel. In fact, I could live stream it on my YouTube channel. That might be interesting. Yeah, I'll have to give that some serious thought too. I could live stream my interviews on the podcast, but I'd rather take time to edit them as required and post them later. So I don't think I'll be doing live interviews. But I could. And I can, of course, do live other things if I so choose. Like this. I am live at this very moment. Possibly, unless you're watching the replay. In which case, I'm not. Well, I am. I hope I'm live, but it's not live streaming. We've done some clearing on the road here since the last little bit of snow we got. It was much wider than it was the last time I walked around the lake, so it looks properly wintry again. Pine Island over there. Won't go over there. They don't clear anything over there in the winter, although I probably would be fine today, but so I'm not going over there. I want to get home and have lunch. Some people are going over there, across the bridge. That island was built at the time of the Canada Summer Games, I believe. There's a couple others that are older, but I think that one is specific to the games. After they'd deepened the lake in 2003, drained it and deepened it, and they did a lot of other changes to it. Deepened it so it doesn't freeze to the bottom in the wintertime, so fish can overwinter. So if you look down the bridge, it's lined up to a point directly at the legislative building over there. here's another patch of open water. Way more birds hanging out here that have decided not to migrate this winter. I don't know how they decide, but considering the risks of migration, not migrating, if there's a way to overwinter, has to be a lower risk, one would think. I'm pretty sure they don't do that kind of calculation, but it might be evolutionarily why that happens. Enough birds that don't migrate reproduce to create more birds that are willing not to migrate. Walking briskly enough to make me breathe a little harder. There's another look at the open water and the birds. The snow clearing stopped right there on the path. I don't know why. How they decide. That's kind of rehab center over there. Oof. Oh, another comment. Hello. It's -7. That when I checked. Celsius. Or apparently 22 Fahrenheit, according to Benjamin. -6, -7, somewhere in there. Getting much colder this week, though. Days coming up when the highs will be sub-zero Fahrenheit. I usually still walk, but I have to dress more warmly for days like that. And the coldest I've ever walked was around the lake at -34 Celsius, which is what would that be, about -32 or 3 Fahrenheit? No, -20, -28, -30, somewhere in there Fahrenheit, I guess. And I did it first thing in the morning, so it was dark, and I didn't see a soul. And it did occur to me halfway around that if I slipped and fell and couldn't get up, I might freeze to death before anyone found me. So I'm not sure that's the best thing to do, just to prove how tough I am. I don't feel as tough as I used to as I get older. A little more cautious, a little more worried about health things. Going with the ledge again. Getting bigger all the time. It's getting bigger all the time. Well, I do my best. Working up a pretty good sweat too inside my warmer coat. It's always the downside. If I wore the lighter coat, I'd be cold to start with, probably about right now. Wear the warmer coat, I'm comfy to start with, and now getting too warm. Oh, here, let's go up and take a look from the viewing platform. At the lake. Spruce Island over there, which is undeveloped. There's a landing stage, but you're not supposed to go over there. It's for wildlife. Down over facility and concert facility for a certain size of concert. I mean, really big concerts go to Taylor Field. I mean, Mosaic Stadium. But that's our biggest indoor facility. Seats about 2,000, I think, or 2,200, something like that. If you use all 3 balconies. And keep my pace up, not letting my steps slow down. Burn off some of those holiday calories. Oh, please do. That's what it's there for. I haven't, well, I guess I updated a little bit with the new Shadowpaw press releases. I'm always shocked when I go there how little I'm updating it these days. But that's because regular news and stuff now goes onto social media. And that's more for more major announcements or developments. It has all of my old science columns on it, which I think actually bring more people to it than anything else, even though many of them are woefully out of date because they were written, starting in the 90s, early 90s at that. So some of the science in those science columns is not something I would use to write a term paper on, for example, as a source. I thought about putting out a collection of those columns, but I never did, and now they're so old. I suppose if I picked ones that aren't tied to, new study says, most of which turn out not to be true. There's the Holodomor Memorial, marking the Soviet genocide of Ukrainians under Stalin. We have a lot of Ukrainian immigrants here, so it's a small, starving child. I believe Saskatchewan government was the first one in the world to recognize that as a genocide, if I remember right. Now let's see. Shall I go by the tennis court? Why not? If I can find the path up here. Nobody playing tennis right now, but I like to walk by there sometimes. Yeah, the path is up here. It's easier to find in the summer because they put a little sandwich board here that points you to their little cafe. That's summer only thing. But here's the Lakeview tennis courts. They've been here a very long time. In the summer, I'll often go by and see people having tennis lessons or just playing. Kids having lessons. And then up here's their little clubhouse, which also has a nice cafe. But only in the summer. Can't remember what it's called. Oh, hello. All right, getting a dark background. Verimi, I guess. Happy New Year. So in the summertime, you can sit out here in their little deck and have something to eat, something to drink. Now we're coming up on the back of the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. The Marble Palace. Something I played with when I wrote Magebane as the Arthur Chain. That fantasy novel is set in a fantasy version of Saskatchewan largely. And the king lives in a marble palace on the south side of an artificial lake under a magical dome that makes it always spring, which is a bit of wish fulfillment because once I started thinking about it, I realized that the dome I described would actually cover where our house is, so it would always be spring there too. Magebane, the Arthur Chain. Great book. You should buy it. Look it up. Buy it. Buy it now. Operators are standing by. Probably only likely to see an ebook of it, but it's available as an ebook at least on Amazon, and they might have some paperbacks in stock. I don't know. Oh, snowblower going there on the walkway, but I'm going to walk close to the building here. This is all made or covered with Tyndall stone, which if you look at closely, you can always see fossils in. In fact, most of the pattern is fossils because it's old seabed. Sometimes you'll see something bigger in there. Not dinosaurs, but sea creatures of various sorts, mollusks and such. In fact, I think they've occasionally even had sort of fossil tours that shows you where some of the fossils that have been identified. I hope so too. Most of my releases will be Shadowpaw Press titles. I am working on a nonfiction book I desperately need to finish and get out this year. It's tied to the podcast. Since that version of the podcast is wrapping up, it seems like it'd be a good time to get that done. I got a grant that got me well started on it, but I haven't finished it yet. So I need to publish that through Shadowpaw Press or possibly through another publisher. We'll see. I have a middle grade fantasy novel. Might as well go up the steps here. I have a middle grade fantasy novel that's I'm waiting a decision on. They've had it for a very long time, but I did get a note 2 or 3 months ago saying we're still considering it. So here we are, main entrance of the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. You look that way, you see into downtown and the Queen Elizabeth II statue on her Saskatchewan-born horse, which she unveiled herself. Like what else? Shadowpaw Press, assuming that I'm able to do it all in the schedule I set myself, which may or may not be possible. One sure release beyond the 2 I mentioned, and then this young adult science fiction novel called The Headmasters. It's coming out February 6th. Then there's a gap until May. And then May 7th, I'm releasing the print version of Robert J. Sawyer's latest novel, The Downloaded, which was is currently an audiobook only, audiobook, Audible original, with an A-list cast. Like Brendan Fraser is one of the narrators, and I have the print rights for that. So for 3 years. So come May, if you want to read Rob's new book in print, it will be the Shadowpaw Press edition in both Canada and the United States. So that's a biggie. And then concurrently, more or less, I'm releasing some books by Dave Duncan, the late great Canadian science fiction fantasy author. These are posthumous. And in fact, in Calgary in early May, there'll be a joint launch I guess you call it a launch, part of the tour, part of Rob's tour that he's setting up for himself at Calgary Public Library. And Dr. Robert Runte from the University of Lethbridge, who's on my editorial advisory board, and also brought the Dave Duncan books to me because he finished them up for Dave after Dave's arranged all this ahead of time. Once Dave was gone, Robert edited them, got them ready for publication. So I'm actually bringing out 2 from him this spring. Then I've got a new poetry book by Linda Monahan and a reprint of a poetry book by John Brady MacDonald. That's all. And 3 middle grade fantasies from Governor General Award-winning author, Saskatchewan author Arthur Slade. The Canadian Chill series, Return of the Gredstone Ghosts, Ghost Hotel, and Invasion of the IQ Snatchers. Those will be out in June, I think, is when I've set those for. I think the poetry books are supposed to be out in July. There's also Let Us Be True, which is a literary reprint from Erna Buffy in Winnipeg. It's supposed to come out this spring as well, spring, summer. And then going into the fall, I've got more lined up. Science fiction, literary, tons of stuff. And everything that's confirmed, almost everything, not everything. I haven't got my website updated or made a couple of announcements, but if you go to shadowpawpress.com, you can see everything coming up. Looks like they're fixing a bench. I'm fixing a bench where the rain gets in. Now, if I were going home, it's right over there. Or there. I mean, to the house. But going back to the condo over on Scratch Street, so this will make this a slightly different return walk than usual. There's Albert Street Bridge, sometimes called the longest bridge over the shortest body of water. Because all that bridge just goes over a little creek down here in the middle where the dam is that makes the lake. Hi, Roger. Yes, but how many do you walk? You can't say that unless you've watched every single walk online. I don't think anybody can do that. I'm hardly alone in this rather bizarre avocation. We'll be going over there and up that way to where I am currently ensconced. So I like to use big words because I'm a writer. Ensconced. Avocation. Well, I recommend walking commuter. And, 44 minutes so far. This will be about an hour. I recommend walking commuter who walks in New York. That's what got me started. Gabe, he's great fun to walk with. He actually did one thing that we watched, not all in one go. It's called the Great Perambulation, I think. But it's a walk completely around the rim of Manhattan Island. It takes about 8 hours. All the way up to the north where it's all rocky and parkland. All the way to the south where the docks and everything is. Here's the creek and the dam that makes the lake. Well, I still got 15 minutes to go, so you're not entirely too late. And of course, it's recorded. Oh, look, there's the sun trying to come out. A rather wintry sun, but there it is. Anyway, most people only watch this for about, according to my stats, 6 or 7 minutes at a time. So if you catch that much, you're right up there with most viewers. It's a sinkhole that opened up in the spring, and just waiting to see what happens to it this next year. Somehow they have to fill it in. Those pumps haven't done anything for ages. I've never heard them running since it first opened. I guess they're ready for spring when there might be more water in there. Yep, that's right. -6 and snowing at Wascana Lake, correct? It is mostly. There was some open water over on the other side that I pointed out when I was over there, and even some birds that have decided not to migrate. There are always some. If they can find open water, they're a lot happier. Ducks have to have open water. Geese can survive without open water, I believe is the way it works. Because ducks, of course, feed by swimming down to the bottom and getting food off the bottom of the lake. Yes, and more snow coming, so as I continue to walk in the next week, it should get wider and wider. Where are the what? I don't know if there's any ducks have wintered over, but way over there, if you go back in the walk, you'll see a whole bunch of geese clustered around an open patch of water. And there might have been some ducks there if they've decided to risk it, but mostly geese. I haven't seen any bunnies today. Don't know where they are. Usually I see at least one or two. No, just around the lake, just back across College Avenue, and I'll be done for the day. I am walking to downtown later, but I won't be live streaming that because I will have done this. And it's nice sometimes to walk without live streaming. It's hard to read these against the... No, not really. Not really holidays. But I'm a freelance writer, so my time is my own. So it's either I never have a holiday or I always have holidays, depending on how I'm feeling about the work I'm working on. Mostly I feel like I never have holidays. I think the kids are out till next week from school yet. But everybody's back at work. Well, unless they took, an extra week just to get an extended Christmas vacation somewhere, probably in the south where it's not snowing. I think school starts next week, though, or restarts. Been a while since I had to worry about that, as my daughter is now out of university. Well, temporarily before she goes to graduate school. That's hardly the same as having an elementary school kid and worrying about when school starts and restarts. Oh, there's a bicyclist. Always an interesting choice of things to do. There's a playground and the swimming pool beyond that. Wascana pool. Wascana, Nobody swimming. There are indoor pools, of course, for dedicated swimmers or kids just want to have fun, you can go to a hotel pool or something. And some people have indoor swimming pools. Ooh, this is very slippery. I've slowed down for that reason. Also, I could go a lot longer, but I would probably slow down a bit after 50 minutes of very brisk walking. I'm thinking, I'm about tired of brisk walking. Funny that. All right, we'll go over here to the college building. Go between Dark Hall and college building, I think, to get back to the crosswalk. Thought about walking through the college building, but I'm not sure it'll be open yet, so I won't try that today. I can go in and walk around there sometime. I've done it before. It's, show the interior. That's the credit union building that was built not too long ago. Dark Hall, which is very nicely refurbished. I was just there on December 29th, as Do It With Class Young People's Theater Company celebrated its 30th anniversary. My daughter is an alumna. She performed with her friend Mika Sontag. A song from City of Angels, with What You Don't Know About Women. Lots of other great performances. Some really talented performers started with the class. Tatiana Maslany, she wasn't there, but Paul Alexander Nolan, who's on Broadway, said a short note, a video. Sabrin Rock, Amy Matizio, many others who have been on Broadway, Stratford, Calgalimba, performed all over the world. Others are teachers, or lawyers, or doctors. Just because you went through theater doesn't mean you end up in theater. It was a great performance, great evening, and a great place to do it in the new refurbished Dark Hall, where they used to do a lot of shows, and will again in the future, I'm sure. So this is the back of the college building. This is all new. They tore down an unsalvageable wing of the old building, but they left the facade, so around the front it looks like the original 1912 building. But it's all actually this brand new building, and behind it here. And among other things, the Conservatory of Performing Arts is here. So here you turn around the corner, 1914. Yeah, so you turn around the corner, and this looks like the old building, but it's actually just the facade at this end. Down at the other end, it's still the old building. They saved the doors and everything, and the brickwork. All this. From here, you can't see it. You look up higher from the front and you see the new part sticking up above the facade here. And then past this door, it's all the old building. I don't see any footsteps, so I imagine the building is closed at the moment. And we're just going to that condo building across the street, and this walk will be done. Collegiate Gothic, they call that style. Now I just have to get across college without being run over. Real downer of an ending for the video. Otherwise, probably go viral though. I could pick up a lot more viewers posthumously. I prefer prehumously. Is that a word? Posthumous, prehumous? Must be. Posthumous. If there's a posthumous, there should be a prehummus. Hummus? No, that would be something you have before you eat hummus. I'd like some pre-hummus, please. Yeah, make sure they're stopping here, which they are. Now we're on Scarth Street. Downtown is straight ahead. I will be down there later, but it's such a short walk, I won't bother streaming it. And over here is a lawyer's office. It used to be a house, very nice house, as you can see. Oh, and look, the parking enforcement is out enforcing parking. Someone's getting a ticket. And of course, as I always mention, these buildings are where Central Collegiate, Regina's first and oldest high school, was located. I think it was the first. It was torn down about the time I moved to Regina, and these condos were built in the 90s and early 2000s. Okie dokie. I will stop here. Thank you for walking with me. No, it's a 2-hour parking limit here. I suspect he parked there too long. Right, so Happy New Year. Thanks for walking with me. And it is the weekend. I don't know if I'll walk over the weekend, but I'll be back soon enough. Bye for now.